Let's go to Truth or Fake. Vedika Bail joins us over by the big board. Great to see you, Vedika. Staying with the war in Iran, in a press conference on Monday, Donald Trump made a series of false claims about the war and Washington's achievements. Talk us through what he said.
Well, Mark, in Monday's press conference, Donald Trump praised the rescue of two US service members and repeated threats to decimate Iran's civilian infrastructure. But he also spread a lot of false information about the war, his own achievements and his own foreign policy. But let's start with what he said about the war in Iran specifically. Well, he noted that US ally Kuwait shot down 3 American fighter jets early on in the war. Now, this is true, and it has been noted by both Kuwaiti and American official bodies. But he then went on to say the only planes really that we lost were friendly fire, they call it, or as he says, what he calls it, unfriendly fire. Now, this is a very bizarre statement to make because the entire objective of this very press conference was the rescue of 2 US aviators after their F-15 fighter planes were shot down by Iran last week, something that he spent the entire press conference talking about. And so it is extremely strange for Trump to go on to make this exact statement when that was very much the focus of his speech. Now, also in that same speech, Dan Kane, who is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he also confirmed in that same presser that the US had also lost another close air support plane, an A-10 Thunderbolt II, during that US rescue in which the pilot had to eject. There is also verified images at a Saudi airbase of a US command and controlled aircraft destroyed from the end of March. So I think we can mark that claim as false. And again, it's very strange of Donald Trump to go on to claim that they'd only lost planes in friendly fire when there's several instances, including the very same press that he was giving, where this isn't true. Now, he also brought up Osama bin Laden. He was talking about his first term and how he ordered the strike in Iran that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. But he then went on to claim that in his 2000 book, he had written that the US should take out Osama bin Laden. We can see it here. He says, I did one other, but this one wasn't picked up, Osama bin Laden. If you read my book, we got to take him out 1 year before the World Trade Center came down. Now, Trump has repeated versions of this statement for a decade, but it is an outright lie. If you take a look at his book from 2000, The America We Deserve, Osama bin Laden is only mentioned once, and he's only mentioned once in passing. And we can see that moment in passing here in this very passage, which is referring to the 1998 US bombing of bin Laden's training camp. So very, very brief mentioning there. He offers no advice on anything to do with bin Laden. We know that it was President Obama that went on to order the raid that killed bin Laden. But it is, again, a very strange comment for Donald Trump to make, especially with a book that he released in 2000, something is so easily fact-checkable by people watching that press conference. But also anyone that owns the book can easily fact-check it at home. So again, it is false, but it is an extremely strange comment for him to make, to have claimed that he wrote that bin Laden should have been killed before 9/11 took place.
There's an element about people, I'm not saying it's about Trump, but maybe you could apply it to Trump, that if you repeat the untruth often enough, people start believing it. Maybe there's an aspect of that going on in his head. Who knows? So, Vedika, you mentioned Trump also veered off piste, if you like, from the current war, also spreading falsehoods about his own foreign policy.
Well, he repeated the false claim that he has ended 8 wars. Now, this has been repeatedly debunked by fact-checkers around the world over and over. He does seem to be including disputes in this list that either were never actually wars or are conflicts that are still ongoing, i.e. the diplomatic dispute between Ethiopia and Egypt about a hydroelectric dam. It has never actually been a war. We can also, he also counts Serbia and Kosovo in this list. The two nations do have a long history in dispute, but they have never fought or fired at each other. They did sign in 2020 economic normalization agreements with Trump in the Oval Office, but they weren't at war during this time. He also seems to be including the DRC and Rwanda, where violence is still ongoing. So I wouldn't count that in that list, but although he does seem to. Now, another claim that he also made, he exaggerated the US military presence in South Korea. He said that we have 45,000 soldiers in South Korea to protect us from Kim Jong-un. But if you look at public Defense Department figures, again, this is public, so anyone can download this and look at it just as I did, but it shows just under 27,000 US military personnel as of December 2025 in South Korea. And of those figures, just around 23,000 are on active duty. And there's no evidence that there's tens of thousands of extra troops deployed to South Korea from the US as of this year. So I'm not sure where he has pulled that 45,000 figure from. Overall, Mark, there's several repetitions of falsehoods that we've heard before from Donald Trump, but there's also some very strange remarks to bring up about the current war, particularly misrepresenting the aircraft situation during a presser in which he talks about the rescue due to lost aircraft. Also to lie outright about the contents of his book, something, again, that is easily checkable from people that either have the book or that might go on to buy the book. It's something tangible that can be checked very, very quickly. So very, very strange remarks from Donald Trump, but completely false.
Veda Gabal, truth or fake, thank you very much indeed.